Hey folks, Pilot Mark here. Thanks for dropping by the channel. It's always really appreciated. Absolutely. I'm at 227 subscribers now. Folks, I didn't know if I would ever make it to 30 subscribers. So I really appreciate that very much. Really appreciate my viewers and subscribers very much. And I'll tell you what, even if I get to 2 million subscribers, I'm still going to appreciate every view, every viewer, every subscriber, every comment, including constructive criticism. Alright, so with that being said, here's my Maule, which is underneath my combination computer desk, TV screen, and hobby bench. Well, underneath there's room for the airplanes. This is my staging spot. I got my, in case you haven't seen this, it's pretty cool because my brother built it. And my brother built this whole house here that I live in. So my brother built this loft. My brother knew that I had a lot of airplanes and loved them, and some of them were pretty big. There you go. So he built this loft. See what I mean? Up between the ceiling, and yet there's plenty of room below. See what I mean? So he built this loft for my airplanes to keep them out of the way. And there's my Cherokee. We're gonna maiden that pretty soon. She got a 3-bladed prop. Running a 4S50C 3200. And then that's the space where the Maule goes normally. But now she's in standby. In the standby spot for going to be flown next. Flew her this morning, and then there's the Cub. Fantastic Cub. Okay, so what this video is about, and I'll hurry up and make it quick because I said I would. I just posted a video this morning about first full flight with a landing gear tweaking that I did. And so I want to really quickly show you exactly what I did. So if you have a Maule and you want to do exactly what I did and see the results that I did, you can do exactly what I did and then know you're going to get the results that you want. So it's very simple. First of all, the landing gear struts were spread really wide apart, much wider than now. And this wire bends quite easily. Too easily, in my opinion, for an airplane this size and weight. Now, my airplane's different because I'm running two 11.1 volt 2200 batteries up in the battery compartment, because one is for the airplane's flight system and the other one is for the FPV system I have on board. There's the camera back there center screen. You can see some of the FPV system under there, including the antenna. Alright, so I got a bunch of nose weight, and so on and so forth. So my plane's heavier. When I was talking about the landing gear wire, in my opinion, being too easily bendable, well, all the more so with my extra weight. But it would bend and then stay bent. And of course, with a whole bunch of flights, I had flown this plane a whole bunch of times, and then finally a viewer kindly said, you know what, your landing gear is really splayed out and too low, and that's not how it should be. And so I said, And then Adam at Model AV8R told me that, hey, you know, if you want the best performance and a more scale look, move the landing gear in. And so I went and looked at photos of the real scale Maules, and sure enough, the landing gear on those isn't splayed out with the plane lower. It's just like mine. Just like mine. So here's what I did. It's very simple. I took the easy to bend landing gear and bent it inward to the point where I thought I wanted it. And I went a little bit beyond that, right? I went a little bit beyond the point where I thought I wanted it, so that when I stopped bending, it would, the springiness of the gear would return the landing gear when untouched to where I want it to be. Okay, so the first thing was to bend the landing gear here, dead center screen. It's hard to see because I've got things painted to blend in and look scale. But if you look, let me get a pointer. Do I have a pointer pen? Okay, hold on. Let me get a pointer pen. Pointer pen. How about a pointer fork? A pointer fork. This is a highly professional video production, slick as always. Okay, so what am I talking about? Oh, I'm looking up here. So right here. Okay, so here, yeah. So right up in here, that's the landing gear strut here, and it comes here underneath this securing clip, which secures the 2 screws. Now here it's still chrome, but I painted it white to blend in. But this is the chrome strut. Now between where the strut comes out of this securing hardware here, between there and here, the top of the, there we go, focus. Oh, thank you. Between there and the top of the landing gear strut cover, and also where the bend starts to go downward, between the fuse here, right there, between the fuse there and over here, it would bend a lot upward. You can see, well, it's hard to see now because I've got a spacer in there. but it would bend upward a lot. So I put a spacer on each side right here, and this is a wedge. I think you can probably see. Let me get my pointer fork out of the way. I believe you can see that pretty good. Yeah. So what this is actually, folks, it's a focus, focus, and try it one more time. Oh, I hate it when it does this. Okay, what this is, folks, it's a battery adapter. Really? Seriously, folks? Alright, what this is a battery adapter, folks. I think it's a Dean's to something else. Right there, dead center screen. You can even see where the contacts are inside there. I had two of these battery adapters, the same size. Didn't need them, didn't use them. They were in my spare parts box. They were just the perfect thickness, top to bottom, to wedge in there to prevent that portion of the landing gear struts that I talked about, to prevent this part of the landing gear struts here from moving upward. I put these wedges in there. They fit perfectly. And I made sure they fit really, really tight all by themselves as best as possible. And then I put in a generous amount of Gorilla Glue brand super glue. And I really recommend the Gorilla Glue brand super glue because unlike the usual super glue, CA, that from my experience, that dries really brittle. And so something like this where you're going to get a lot of shock, I found that can break loose pretty easily. This is more like a combination between rubber cement and traditional crazy glue because it's got the strength of crazy glue, but it's got the flexibility of rubber cement. So this will hold really, really strong, and yet you can have some flexibility. So I used that glue to glue the landing gear shim in place, if you will, that I had made on each side, so that this part here could not bend up. And then when I did that, it made the tires. I think it made them splayed like this, because when I moved it, it's made them splayed down. Because when I moved the strut this way, well, the tire got tilted this way. So then I had to bend that straight like that at the axle right where my finger is, right there. I had to bend it straight there, and of course I removed the landing gear to bend the landing gear how I wanted it. I removed it, bent it how I thought it was, installed it up in here without the screws temporarily to see where we were at, and I kept doing that until I got it just exactly right. Everything just how I wanted it and how I thought it should be. And then the last thing I did was I painted it, as you can see. So I think it looks great. I mean, it's not going to win any awards, but I think it looks great. You're not going to say, hey, somebody put a spacer in there, a shim. No, I think it looks fine. I think it looks pretty good, actually. Yeah? Yeah, I think it looks just absolutely fine. And of course, in the air, you're never going to see it, but I think even on the ground, it's just not ever going to be noticed. All right. So we did the bending. To recap, we did the bending up here. We did the bending down here on the axle. And we did the shims. That's it, folks. That's it, seriously. And now I did a little short demo in the grass field where I fly, and I lifted up the plane and I dropped it a few times, close up on the landing gear, and you can see it does not splay in the least. It absorbs some shock for sure, and that's what you want, but it does not splay in the least. So that's how I did it. It's very, very simple. Oh, the other thing is to make everything stronger and more rigid. And also because these covers, if you have them all, if you've had it for a while, these covers like to pop off. It's only a little plastic hook. I think it's 2 of them, maybe 3 of them. A little plastic hook in there that holds the plastic strut cover on. And they, just from normal use, they break off. So I went ahead and glued the strut onto the strut cover onto the strut with the same Gorilla Glue. And then I put duct tape over the strut and painted it white. So it's really, really, really reinforced. And yet, you don't notice it. Everything's white. Everything blends in. See? Dead center screen. Yeah. Before you'd see chrome, which would show up more than what we got here. You'd see chrome bare strut wire there. But now it's just white, so I think it looks even better. Is that everything? I think it's everything. Just want to make sure I don't leave anything out. Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Okay. So, again, if you've got them all and maybe you land where it's just really, really deep grass, like where I fly, thick grass, and like this morning, I have to go there at a time at the field that's early enough that it's quiet and the sun hasn't come up yet, so it won't be into my eyes, and that's right after they've been sprinkling. When I show up to fly is right after they've been sprinkling the heck out of the field. So the grass is not only long and thick, but it's soaking wet. So before, with this airplane, I could not land virtually without a nose over. I get a few if I just had everything just perfectly right, and if I landed in a patch of the grass that wasn't quite as thick, but nothing consistent. But after, because the nose was too low, my plane is extra nose heavy anyway because of the dual batteries, and the thick grass, everything made it everything that added up to making it want to nose over, and with good reason. So now, by fixing the gear the way I've described, no more problem. Oh, it's just fantastic. And I did a bunch of tests in my backyard. I got a half-acre backyard here where I live, and I just brought the plane up to landing speed on the ground, and then I cut the throttle and hit full elevator and pulsed the motor to see if she would slow down smooth without nosing over, because we got potholes in our yard too, and she did great. So I tested it like that. And she would have normally nosed over in some of the potholes in the backyard. She did not. So I took that knowledge and went and did the test flight today. Fantastic. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subbing. Go out and fly something. Go out and crawl something. And see if you can share the joy of the hobby with somebody else. And you probably already do. Thanks. Signing off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.